But anyway, we only have 2 mics, right? So I don't need one. That's a big round. My name is Darren DeVivo. I'm from WFUV Radio in New York City, which I've been at since 1984 on the air. And a huge Beatle fan. I've been coming to the fest since 1982. And maybe the past 10 to 15 years it's occurred to me that I probably should, instead of me spending multitudes of time at the bar with my friends, I probably should try to do something a little more constructive at the fest. And so it's developed into, you know, me hanging out, making new friends, and doing things like this. I also co-host a podcast called Things We Said Today with Alan Cozen, who's here, with his McCartney book, Ken Michaels, who everyone knows, Ken, from all the things that he does, and the 3 of us do the bi-weekly podcast, Things We Said Today. And so I'm thrilled to be running this panel because I'm a collector myself, but I didn't bring any, there's no show and tell for me, but I don't think you want to, you don't care about what I have to say, because we have this esteemed panel of guests here who are going to talk about all their goodies and why, how they sneak them past their wives if they're married, because I'm still trying to figure that part of it out. So I'm going to let you guys introduce what you do. Down at the end, it's Tom Hunyadi.
And I am a co-host of the Paul McCartney podcast called Two Legs, and a co-host of the Talking Solo Beatles video cast.
And then I'll come here because his partner in crime is Andy Nichols.
And I'm also his co-host. I joined Tom in 2019. Thank you, partner. I joined Tom in 2019. I'm a co-host of that show as well. And as you can tell, I'm a big McCartney fan.
And to Andy's left, from Canada, ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Alexanian. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Good.
I was hoping you'd say it right, because I don't even have a nameplate.
It's probably somewhere around.
It's not.
Who made you one? Ethan. Go ahead, tell them.
Well, whatever my name is, I do a podcast called Fans on the Run, where I interview people about how they got into the Beatles, when the Beatles mean to them, all that wonderful stuff. And yes, unfortunately, I too am a collector.
All right, and also, Piers is not here, is he?
No, Pierce is not here.
He is not here.
Pierce sends his regards.
So our final guest, fellow Mets fan, Joe Mayo.
Yes, hi everybody. Yeah, I am a Mets fan, and of course they're disappointing me at the beginning again. Anyway, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel is called Me, Mr. Mayo. You know, different condiment other than mustard. And I've been doing it for 11 years, and I also do Talk More Talk, along with Tom Hunyadi here. And that's pretty much my main thing. So, a YouTube channel has all kinds of Beatles goodies.
All right. Well, thanks for taking time out to talk about the type of collecting that you do. And so just start with you, Andy. At the heart of, first of all, as a collector, the #1 priority for you, I'm assuming, is McCartney. What specifically? Will you jump for, or maybe something you might walk away from that you're not, you know, it's not in your interest? Yeah.
Mainly the vinyl, you know. My co-host down there has got another take on it, which is pretty cool. But anything that's really kind of, it's all about the music for me first. Whatever format that comes in. Thankfully, Paul's team the last decade or so has really given us a lot of great stuff with the archive stuff, culminating with this bad boy right here in 2018, end of 2018. So for me, it's all about McCartney and the extras and the bonus stuff, and really kind of the reassessment of his music that this is all kind of doing now for his music and his legacy. Of course, I love all sorts of other memorabilia 45s, but to me, it's about the music and the product and the quality and how it's well researched, because I am an academic, so I enjoy the essays and the in-depth look at this material that's been so forgotten and not really looked at for so long.
So, in other words, getting a mint condition pressing of Mary Had a Little Lamb from '72 isn't the priority. Having Mary Had a Little Lamb in the best possible.
Not really. If I have 1 or 2 good copies in good condition,
that's the priority.
I'm fine. Yeah, I don't need to find some super rare, I mean, you know, mint, you know, that's another whole realm of collecting,
Right.
and that's not what I'm really into.
Yeah, that's
That's an expensive
very
house.
surprised I'm still allowed in my house. Ethan, tell us about what, I mean, now you're clearly the youngest guy here. Well,
Allegedly.
What drew you to collecting the Beatles and not just collecting the music, and what specifically is your expertise in, or what do you like to collect?
Well, I'll start off with how I started collecting, because it's intertwined with how I started listening to the Beatles. My uncle introduced me to them, but when he introduced me to them, he wisely told me about a theory that back in 1966, Paul McCartney had actually died. And if you look at the album covers in different ways, you can see different clues. And at that moment, it's like, I have to get the albums. And that's why I bought my first vinyl copy of Sgt. Pepper, so I could hold the butter knife up to the bass drum to read it. And yeah, I've been mainly a record guy. I don't collect a lot of the knickknacks from the 60s, but stuff like this, I like.
Yeah, tour program.
Tour programs, printed materials,
Okay.
etc.
And Joe, how about you? Now, I've seen you often online, and you get to see just a little fraction, I imagine, of your collection behind you.
Yeah.
And every time I see you there, I immediately think, oh, Ringo's with him. Wait a minute, no, that's the cutout.
I do collect Ringo too.
What is how did it start, and what are you concentrating on?
Well, I started, I guess, when I was about 16 or something like that. It was many years ago. And what I concentrate on is just about everything, and anything almost. I do have some knickknacks from the 60s. It's not just, about just the albums. There's albums, there's memorabilia. I'm going to show you stuff later, or?
Yeah, we'll come back to all that.
I'll show some of that later. But, so there's not really one thing. It could be records, it could be books, it could be posters. I'm particularly fond of, for some reason, display stuff, like original display items, like advertising in stores, certain solo albums. I love the solo Beatles. And something that would kind of promote a record or a project or movie, anything. Promotional items are my favorite of all.
Yeah. All right, and Tom?
Well, I've been collecting since my early teens with comics, and it's just been, downhill since. So I've been always collecting something, and then really the McCartney rabbit hole that I don't know if I wisely or foolishly chose to dive down, and it's just been never ending. It's just been a whirlwind, and that really started in 2020 during the pandemic. Just really starting to take a look, and then watching videos like Joe and his videos, and watching what he has and other people what they have in their collections, and being envious. And just going, I need that, I need that, I need that, and then going out and finding stuff. I've been pretty successful the last, and the same thing too. Yeah, the music is important, the most important, but damn, all this stuff is fun.
Yeah.
The promotional stuff, like the display stuff, the concert stuff, all that stuff is just great to collect.
So but McCartney's at the front.
McCartney's the main
McCartney's
one.
right at the core.
Right, exactly. I've been slowly starting to get into the other three as well.
Okay.
I think he said yesterday he wasn't going to participate.
Oh, okay.
Owner of every colored vinyl.
No, that's Joe.
Oh, McCartney's right.
He knows that.
All right, so and I might as well just quickly. I tend probably old vinyl and CDs. It's having, and it's not just Beatles. And what fueled me having a music library really since turned into was the years working at a radio station when I wouldn't say everything was available, but I caught the tail end of the music industry when it would send out, every jock would get a copy of an album. Now, when I was younger, I've heard stories, I've seen jocks getting boxes of records, each individual DJ would get. You know, I've seen stuff like that. By the time I was in the 80s, definitely into the 90s, it was like, you know, if an album came out, I could expect that I'd be taking it home. Because I'd get my own copy, a copy, one copy on CD. And then there'd be like promo tchotchkes that you'd get, you know, that I just thought, wow, this is the coolest thing in the world. I bring this home, I could put this here, and as the years went by, it became bigger and bigger, and so it's mainly music, vinyl CDs for me. I like original vinyl, I like mint condition. I'm suspicious of sealed because I worked at Tower Records and resealed plenty of CD there. I'm feeling guilty about this, going, this was probably something, wait a minute, this was mine. I brought this back. I'm putting it back, and I know, but you know, so I'm suspicious about certain sealed items, but that's my thing, and I joke all the time, and if my wife were here, she would definitely be angry because I make her look like an ogre, and she's not. She's got the patience of a saint. What I've done to our house with my collection. We bought a house that once had all these rooms, and now the only rooms that I don't have some of my crap in are the bathrooms and the kids' bedrooms. I started with my son, he threw me out, because now I've gotten to a point where I've hit that wall of, like this big George Harrison crate that came out. This is responsible for me getting that, because I missed out on this and swore I would never miss out on something. So I don't even look at the price, I order it. And then when it arrives in the mail, it's like, oh no, what did I do? And my wife would come home from work and see, what's this?
Well, see, you're not supposed to let them see it when you don't.
My hiding place is store stuff now. So anyway, but that's my thing. My thing tends to be music, records, and a little bit out. And same with Pink Floyd. A few other bands. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. Mets fans. I collect like magazines, old school.
Hey, let's go Mets.
Hey. So in any event, so let's do the show and tell. And now I'm for the first time ever seeing this. I've only seen this on eBay once. And I saved it just to see how long it was going to sit there for several hundred.
I really should have sat over there.
Because I'm looking. Look, squirrel. But this was like, this is, for those who don't know, I mean, does everyone know what this is? No idea. McCartney's been reissuing his albums now, it seems like forever, sort of band on the run periodically, putting out every 10 or 15 years, it seems like a different album from his past. And when it came time to redo Wildlife, the first Wings album, in Red Road Speedway, they came out as mega boxes. Nice. And then they decided, let's do this, let's stick one on Darren. We're going to put both boxes together in a mega box set, and you'll get a DVD. I think it's the DVD is the one, the CD is the one thing that you're not getting anywhere else.
And so Wings,
Yeah.
And I think they made like 5 of them, it seemed like. It's one of these items where you find out about it, you figure out tomorrow I'll go rob the bank, and then I'll order this tomorrow night, and tomorrow night comes and it's sold out. It was gone before it ever became available to the general public. The release date, say, was December 1st. If you tried to buy it, like me, it was like maybe late November, it was gone. And I wanted it bad. And I was angry that I didn't get it. I got the individual sets, but so is that from out of...
Yeah. This is from I didn't bring Wildlife with me just to lighten the load a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Darren mentioned, it came exclusive with this book, Wings Over Europe, which chronicles the tour. But it came with a live CD. And a lot of people were really pissed because the only way to get that CD was getting the box. You couldn't get it individually on streaming or anything. So it was really, really exclusive to get that. I have number 612 of this. So I don't know how many were made, Tom?
I think 3,000 maybe.
Yeah, so that's how many?
3,000.
3,000. So that's a pretty good low number. I don't remember what number yours was. Oh no, you didn't get it.
I didn't get one.
Joe, did you?
No, I regret it too.
I wait, yeah, and my thing was I waited. I figured, oh, if it's pre-sale. When it goes on sale, I could still, but now things are disappearing with pre-sales.
Yeah.
Not just Beatles. But,
Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those things, you know, you know it's gonna be a lot of money, and you just bite the bullet and you say, I'll figure it out, like somebody did with a suitcase in 2018.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with this box set, and really, shortly after that, like Darren said, it was like on eBay for stupid amounts of money to fetch that. So it's one of my prized possessions, and I love it. And again, as I said, it's the music.
Yeah.
I love wildlife. I love that period of Wings and Red Bull Speedway. I mean, the way it's 50th anniversary this year. It was just a really nice set, and happy to have it.
I don't want to run out of time on dwelling on one thing, but what is your opinion about sets like this? And I mean, a lot of people, these things will come out and start going up. They're fleecing the fan.
I don't think it's a cash grab. If you want it, you get it. If you don't want it, you don't have to get it. It's not a cash grab. If you want it and you're a collector and you like the music, you'll get it. It's not. I don't believe in that term, cash grab, personally.
I think, and while I have sometimes issues with the amount of money that some of these things cost, like the George Harrison box, which I still don't know how I pulled that one off. I lost my train of thought there. The amount of money sometimes, now it's becoming a little bit of the norm for these mega box sets are coming out. They're getting more and more expensive, and it's like, okay, there will come a point I'm probably going to have to draw a line, but these things come out, people are buying them. So, and people are complaining, but they're buying them.
They still sell out.
They're still selling.
And the industry is doing all this to keep people interested in physical formats.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't for this, and if it wasn't, for you buying music today, nothing would be sold anymore in the way of physical formats.
Well, I think they sell out, maybe, Tom, because you're talking about people buying them all up and then jacking up the
And then
prices.
jack it up on eBay, yeah.
No, they'll buy two and then throw one up. And then they paid for it times two sometimes. And that's kind of crappy. Like I as a fan first and collector second, I would never, I'm gonna buy two and then just try to make money on the deal. It's that's not who I am.
I mean, if I'm buying, if I buy two of something, I want both.
Right, exactly.
I'm my own worst enemy with that. You gotta have one you keep sealed. Why?
Because you gotta have it.
And then it's like, Darren, when you're gone, this stuff, I said, no, I made a deal with my son, because my son plays video games, he's a retro gamer. I said, well, he's going to manage the museum that we're going to open up here in the house. So, space an issue for you?
No, it is not.
Okay.
It's not. Space is not an issue.
Should I hold some stuff over?
Yeah, you got to earn it though. It's part of life.
And how about with your collection? How much would you say you have, not dollar-wise, but stuff-wise? Now, is it also an issue for you collecting and maintaining and saving and displaying?
Talking to me?
No, Ethan.
Yeah.
Talking to me?
So what's the neighbor right?
Yeah. I'm constantly running out of shelf space.
Yeah.
I keep having to make trips to IKEA, buy a new record shelf, because it's the bug. It's the collector bug.
Right. And no, Joe, how about you? Space.
Starts the camera on, though. Okay. Oh.
And storing all, and doing your displays and stuff at home, how do you maintain storage space? Do you have a bed that you can get to?
No, I do not have one. Lately I've been sitting on a recliner for the last 6 months, like sleep on the recliner, and the bed's full of stuff. But I mean, I could put it away, I just haven't yet. But no, there's really not a lot of space in my place. We have a small apartment, and eventually we're going to be moving into a house, and it's getting delayed. 2 years away, maybe, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's all over the house. It's the living room. Is it right?
Yeah.
It's all over the living room. But my girlfriend, who I've been with for, but my girlfriend, who I've been with for many years, she supports this and she encourages this.
Nice.
She's the one that said you have to have that George Harrison box. You have to. No, it's not $1,000. I don't have that kind of money. No, you got to find a way. Use a credit card. You have to have this in your collection because she is a collector. On top of me collecting, and she's dollhouses. Could you imagine? And how the size of those things?
That must be substantial space-wise,
It
yeah.
makes the Uber box look like, a thimble. No, but I'm cool with it, we understand each other, so that's fine, and I like that we have that about us, because, well, we wouldn't be together anyway this long if somebody was like, you're not getting this, it wouldn't work.
Now, Tom, I know from posts that you've made, personal posts on Facebook, your wife's into music as well.
Yeah.
But yet then I wonder, I'm like, all right, I know there's got to be other things that Tom collects, and I know you're into movies.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now you mentioned comic books.
Well, that
How do you
was-
handle storing, keeping, displaying your stuff?
Yeah, constantly changing the room around, constantly trying to find ways to fit a different shelf in, or being creative and stacking, or whatever, or rearranging. It's a constant struggle because, as you see, I mean, we just keep finding things to bring in the man caves, if you want to call them that, or the homes, or the kids' rooms, or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, it's been these last couple of years. It's been interesting.
Well, yeah, Tom, buy it first, worry about the space later.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
And I'm amazed, you say an apartment, and you're getting this all,
Yeah, it's
two
two bed-
collectors in an apartment making it work.
It's a two-bedroom apartment, but we need plus I collect movies and stuff, DVD, Blu-rays,
Right.
so they should see, so.
it's like I got one side of the room is all movies, and then the other side is then where is the Beatles and McCartney and vinyl and all that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so it's tough being passionate about two different things.
What would you say is, stick with you, Tom, that pops to your mind when you think about the most, say, priciest thing you've bought? And when you hit to that level, do you think to yourself, should I be spending this? Is this worth
Yeah,
this?
it should be spending. I mean, it's, but yeah, I mean the crate, obviously. I mean that was probably the most I've spent on something. I know something like McCartney's Twin Freaks was probably the most I spent on one single vinyl. I won't disclose that, but
Oh, go ahead.
after the show.
Because we're all there.
Yeah, well, the wife might be watching.
It's funny, you remember though, with the Harrison box, we both did not want to get that first.
No, not
We were like,
first.
nah.
But you look at it, the more you look at it, you see those gnomes and and then the book and all the other little goodies that came in. You had to.
Yeah.
And plus, it's a great album.
Yeah.
The top off.
Right. How about you, Joe? What is like that comes to mind when you talk about the most expensive thing or things that you spent? And do you have a cap? Maybe that's how I should have put it.
Yeah, cap.
Do you have a cap that you would put that you can't go, that you won't go or shouldn't go beyond?
Well, for one thing, I didn't buy the Egypt Station suitcase. I don't know, for me, that was just something that, even though I wouldn't mind having it, but it didn't work for me, the price and what it was. But probably the most expensive thing I have is probably the Uber box, the George Harrison crate. That's easily, the most expensive thing. Do I have a cap on it? It depends, I think, what it is. What is that? The
Ringo piece.
The Ringo
Oh,
piece
yeah,
I had
the
for
one
like
you-
$5,000.
Oh, that you bought the $1,200? Yeah, that was
I was an April Fool's joke, folks. I put it on my channel. Everybody, oh, what is that thing for $1,200? No, it was a TJ Maxx hand for like $8. I did an April Fool's joke. But yeah, I don't know if I have a cap. I mean, I'm not made of money, that's for sure. People see this stuff and they think, oh, he must have a lot of money. Well, no, it's just that, I still have these lights on, they've never been shut off. The bills are paid. You might have to wait a month sometimes so I can get the new Paul McCartney autograph set.
We'll write that on the comment bill. Wait, it'll be out after I buy it. Then you.
I mean, to me, life is meant to be enjoyed. That's not all there is to life, but, I'm a collector.
I will say that one of the things that has made it affordable to get, we talked about the Harrison box, we all got it. I was never going to be able to just fork down $1,000 to buy it, but these sites now, they'll let you pay it off over the course of a few months.
Yeah.
So that's actually, honestly, that's how I got the Harrison one and this. Because I can't put $1,000 down on something. It's not, I don't think most of us can. But something like that, okay, yeah, I'll pay that off over 6 months, sure, done. Click, let's go.
Yeah, and I personally, for what like interests me, because now, what has happened, like when I say my music collection is sort of like a library. If I like an artist, chances are I'm going to have most, if not everything they do, even if the particular, some of the albums, for example, are not things that I've been able to listen to, you know, like, and I'll get into an artist hardcore and it'll become, you know, I'll be all excited about having all of the jazz band Weather Reports albums, and I'm like, one or a best of or a couple of albums won't do it. I'm into the group now, the whole collection comes, and the box sets that were coming out there for a little while, which I wish they would keep doing them. Columbia did a bunch. I like Miles Davis. They put out every Miles Davis album on Columbia in a nice box. Tony Bennett, boom. These are great ways to get massive collections, a little expensive, not bad, in small spaces, which I'm happy with. Let's bring everyone into the conversation here. If you have any questions, or you want to stick, maybe give me a tip on storage, and whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to bring up. Anyone, great show of hands. Yes, Rob Leonard, ladies and gentlemen.
First of all, Mr. Mayo, love the T-shirt. Infinity Records, must be I've been
It's the
there.
only one that I have that's black.
Really, mine's black too. Mr. Mayo, if you need help moving stuff, you can take a nap. I'll help you move it.
Now you be asleep though while you're doing it.
You have to pay attention to the details. I can use that Harrison box. So I couldn't buy with a log. I never got that. I mean, that's one of the things that gets me about the collection. It's almost like they're purposely putting crap out just to get people, because you sell 3,000 copies at $100. That's $300,000, and it's not expensive to do. And I know that's where they make money now, but there's so many things I don't need.
With that crate, I mean, you gotta factor in that you're also, you're paying for the crate, right? You're paying for all the other work that's going into it, not just the music.
I know, but if I want to buy a crate, I go to the soda store.
I'm like, this is a great.
Same thing with the McCartney, the recent, the 7. Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we think about that set? The 80, it's actually 83. Technically 81 singles.
One with the press.
With the press. Yeah.
Who here bought the McCartney 80 singles box set, vinyl box, that came out late last year? That's why I guess we're up here. Who doesn't know what I'm talking about? You don't know. Well, what McCartney put, and this was kept hush-hush.
Oh, yes.
And then all of a sudden there were rumors that something was coming out, and everyone assumed, oh, it's going to be the next archive reissues, which is supposed to be let at London Town and back to the end.
For
two wings up that haven't been overhauled as box sets with extras. And then all of a sudden the leak came out that this is going to be a vinyl box set of all Paul McCartney singles on 45. Reproduced, artwork, depending on different countries, picture sleeves, the labels will be like the labels were in the US or some of them in the UK design. And that was it was in the 700, 700.
Just under 7.
Yeah, and that was when I felt, this is beautiful, I'm going to get it, I got to act, because you got to act right away, because they, like I pointed out, they sell quick despite the price.
It was sold out in 2 days.
Yeah,
2 days.
and I felt really good about getting the order in, not getting screwed like I did with this. But I did think to myself, it's a little bit, it's a nice conversation piece, but do we need all singles on little 45s?
Yes.
Yes.
I think the booklet really explains it well, and it made me really believe it, because 45s really have their own personality and their own life. Paul was talking about that in the booklet, right?
Yes.
They're all, that's what they were hooked on as kids and everything. And I like when you play a 45, it's like, you're spotlighting that song. Like, this is an event. You're just gonna hear this song played, and then companion on the other side. I don't know. People say, well, why would I want to keep getting up, changing? You don't have to
Yeah,
listen
that's
to
another thing, yeah, that's,
You don't have to listen to one session.
But that's, you know, that's,
That's what we did when we were a kid though,
Yeah.
right?
the record was over, you flipped it over. That was it.
So what's the difference, 30, 40, 50 years?
now I know that you guys definitely would buy it if it were done this way. But I had thought, a multi-CD set of all 80-something, well, double it because it's B-sides.
Right.
So what would that, who knows, that would be 6,
Six
7
discs.
CD. Would that have made more sense? Or is the idea
The idea is
to have
the 7-inch.
singles?
Yeah, not for that project. That was specifically devoted to singles. I'm a physical media guy anyway. Well, people say, well, I took the stuff, and they want to lie, you can burn the song or copy the song. I'm like, the whole idea of it is the physical 45. That's what, if you read the book, that's the whole idea of it.
Yeah, I get, my kids mock me because I'm still, so if it's like, my daughter will be listening to something, I'll go, no, want me to get you the album? She goes, no, I got it. Where? It's here.
Right.
No, you don't have it. You don't have it. You own sound waves, you own air. You don't own that. Here goes Dad again.
Boomer. Okay, Boomer.
Yeah.
Proud boomer.
Show me how that rotary phone works again, Dad. But I'm a vinyl man.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
That's what I did. My kid's like, what is that?
They must have fun with it though, no?
And
He does.
what's funny with kids, my daughter like looked like at a turntable like it was, she knew what it was, but it was like, wow, this is actually, and we were in a record shop years ago in Pittsburgh. She came with Dad, well Daddy, because she didn't complain when I've got albums of every arm, Mommy's favorite. But Emily came and she was fascinated with the turntable. I said, let's go play a record. They were set up, it was one of the shops that they got turntables around for each sample. And I just put the needle, and it was the funniest thing, and then I says, no, it's a touch thing. I said, the whole generation would need to learn.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not just put the flapjack on the turntable, you gotta like have a little, and then working in radio, I got very good at like, you could poke me in the eye and kick me in the ass, I'm still hitting that cue right where I was. So anyway, so does anyone want to talk about something that you own, that you won't buy, that you wish you had, or any questions in general for collectors? Yes.
Thoughts on the Beatles Mo-Fi box set?
Luckily for me, I don't collect Mo-Fi. That's one thing I don't collect, which I'm glad.
What is Mo-Fi? That's Mobile Fidelity. They're a distributor, vinyl distributing company. Kind of like Criterion Collection, where they remaster and they just give you the best sounding record as possible. Although I heard that their Beatles pressings are not the best pressings out there.
They're nice, but unless you're going to invest in a $100,000 sound system,
Right.
you're not going to really tell the difference. I'd like to get them, but I'm just an average Joe. I have a nice home stereo system with a turntable and everything, but I wouldn't view the difference in a Mobile Fidelity versus a really clean pressing of Abbey Road. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference with that.
So you're an average Andy, I'm an average Joe.
Yes, you are.
Good question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say two things about the Paul Singles box. Tom and Joe did a great unboxing video of it. And I'm not really a vinyl guy, I'm still a CD guy, and I'm like, why the hell is this not in it? I think I commented on their unboxing. But again, I get what the spirit is. It's okay, it's 45s and it's the picture sleeve from Japan or Germany. I'm like, it's cool, but like you had said, I'm not gonna ever play it. Am I gonna spend $700 on something I'm never gonna play? It's a nice book, nice conversation piece, so I drew the line not doing it.
Understandable.
And then secondly, the All Things Must Pass crate, that I did buy, but I had reached, I'm like, I'm not paying $1,000 for this. Luckily, You Discover Music had screwed up one of my orders right before that, sent me a one-time use 40% off coupon, so I got it for $600, And I think I commented to Joe, I said, and 2 days later, they stopped letting you use coupons to buy the crates, because other people were doing it. So when people say,
The first day they had a promo code, and I did get it for like
Same
7
here.
something.
Yeah.
So I didn't get it for the full.
That's right.
Yes.
I think I got it for like 9 or so. I was
Yeah.
I was over 1,000.
and they stopped you from using it,
Right.
I'm like, damn, I got that 40% in just in time.
Justin.
So I justified $600 is a lot better than 1,000, so that's why I got it.
And the crate is still available on his website,
Yeah,
so it's not sold out.
yeah.
Yes,
Back in the day, I worked in a record store in the middle 70s, and I have a promo copy of Back to the Egg. The salespeople used to come in and offer us freebies, so we would do it. Of course, speaking to what you said, Darren, about playing records, it's not pristine because it was the actual demo that we played in the store. But
Okay.
I still have it with all the promo and all the,
right.
so it's
right,
pretty
right.
cool. It's something different.
Cool.
you know?
Back to the Egg always reminds me of graduating grammar school, because it came out the week that I graduated from 8th grade. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, it's just, saw Back to the Egg and I just pictured myself with the cap and gown going.
So not only do DJs get promotional stuff, record stores as well got
Oh, yeah,
promotional
yeah.
stuff. So there's a whole other world of collecting right there.
Yeah, well, Joe, you have, I mentioned the Ringo cutout that you have, that you see, that was a store display, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Stop and Smell the Roses from 81. Yeah, that's it.
Did you buy it as a collector, or were you able to get it in 81 from the
So
store?
that was something that I got, when I say recently, maybe 2015 or something, I got it off eBay. And it was in the box, it was never used, it was, he must have had a bunch of them. And I still see that thing up, but the prices are outrageous now. I didn't pay an outrageous price for it, but now I see them on eBay, the same thing. And
They're expensive, these promo things, when we would go in stores and Journey would have a new album out, so the record company would make a cardboard display that somebody in the back, when I worked at Tower, I was lucky enough to get to build these things with no instructions. And the cutout thing, you put all the albums, Journey's new album, everything else on sale, and you'd be amazed at those displays are very valuable, very expensive to get. And if you're lucky, you're in with somebody that works at the store, who you say, when you're done with that, can I have it? And they'll give it to you, they're going in
They
the
used to
car.
do that, I know.
I was told once, they're in the dumpster, sorry. And I was like, you really want me to climb into a dumpster?
I got it.
I got
You've done it, I came close, I didn't.
I got 2 this weekend. I got the Pipes of Peace cassette display, and I got the Back to the Egg display.
You were in a dumpster?
You were this way,
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Dumpster dive and everything. No, upstairs on the 9th floor. Yeah.
What was the one they had, Legion Station, when it came out? It's a display for the albums with Paul in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And
Target?
Barnes and Noble?
Target or
Barnes and
yeah,
Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
And I tried to go to 3 places, those are SOBs, wouldn't give that
They
up.
won't give it.
For nothing, now, if this was 1974 or something, they said, oh, you can have it, sure, you know? Now, I finally got one. I went to one place, all they had was the record part, and then I was missing the part with Paul that slides into it in the back. But I had the front. Then one of my good friends, Alan, he wound up coming with Fest, so I got the back. I got the back for you. We met up here, this was about 2018, 2019, probably, and gave it to me, took it home. Now I got a complete display. So,
There was a little poster that went with that too, little like that.
oh no. Need the poster?
It's just a little one. I went to a record store in Berlin, but they specialized in punk, and that was hanging on the wall, like way low. And I looked at the guy, I said, "Can I buy that?" He said, "You can have it."
Oh, that
I couldn't
happened.
get it off the wall fast
There was one
enough.
guy, if I could say, wait, there was one, recently, we had Happy Road, when Happy Road was reissued. Really nice guy in the store, he did give me that one, I shouldn't say, never give it.
No, they'll give, a lot of times they'll do it, but you get the timing also when
I
they look at it.
said, he had the CDs in there, and he was still selling the CDs. And he said, yeah, take it, yeah, he took the CDs out, and I could barely get it in my car, let me tell you. But I got it, he took the CD out, so I can't say everybody, but somebody's doing it.
Yes,
Another record store benefit I have was from '76 when rock and roll music came out. Had that clothesline,
Oh,
it
yeah.
had all the albums, so I have that tucked away in a box somewhere.
oh, that's nice.
The underrated cover that I love, except for the thumbs. I don't like the thumbs, but I like the rest of it.
Ed, you got a question?
Yeah, it's more of a comment and a question regarding the McCartney singles collection. I was always a hardcore vinyl, then CD guy. Didn't really care for the whole idea of the digital thing, but I got turned on to it for a lot of different reasons, monetary reasons, and just for time, whatever. So when I found that the McCartney's collection is on Spotify, it blew my mind because, number one, all of these songs that I've been wanting for so many years, and these versions of them were actually just on Spotify, and I didn't have to go to the trouble of buying the $600 version of the, which is an odd thing because you would think that if they were going to do something like that, they would do it under, like I think Darren mentioned about the Wings 71, 73 box.
Yeah.
But that was special, and you had that one DVD or CD that you could only get by buying that thing there, and they would have done the same thing with this.
That's like the collector versus music thing, where, when
Right.
you not just want the music, or is it aimed towards a collector?
Right. My question was, I get angry because a lot of these artists, particularly a guy like McCartney, who is a billionaire, why the point of all these extra releases? I mean, we have McCartney 3 that came out in 2020, and you had, 8 different versions of the album? So you get collectors, God bless you, for doing it, and having it and doing it. But why go out and spend another $16 on every damn album, because you want to have every version of it? Isn't that just ridiculous?
Well, if you're a collector and you're into the colored vinyl is the thing, vinyl is back.
I'm not saying the collector is wrong. I'm saying the artist or the record company.
How is that relevant? To stay relevant though, by keeping releasing the stuff. That stuff needs to stay in print. You know, the next generation, if he's only going to put this stuff out like every 10 years, let's say, okay, then, 5 years after that, that generation that's getting into his music, they're not going to have that opportunity. So
Or they can't afford it.
Yeah, or they can't afford it. So, right, go ahead.
And I look at it as, really, you can have, like, say, 12 colors. And you say, like you go to Baskin Robbins, you pick one flavor, Pick the one you want.
Thank you. That's exactly my area. Okay.
But here's 12 colors. Which one do you want, Now, some diehards, this guy with McCartney and everything, want them all. Me too. I have them all. I have them all except for the first one. It's like $3,000. They list about a cap. I'm not paying my third man.
And it's a business too. They're in the business of making money. That's the bottom line.
Just because he's a millionaire doesn't make, what more?
I also think the artist, I don't want to say, it's probably not accurate saying it this way, but the artist has minimal input to this. The record companies want to make money.
Although I think
So the record company is going to come up with these ideas. I mean, I guess theoretically you could say, Paul, and not just McCartney, I mean, every act out there right now, this is happening with their music. Even pop acts today that will do, these elaborate sets.
Doing like the McCartney thing, we're releasing 6, 7 different colors of her records.
I think she's up for about
Yeah, where's the outrage for that though? Why do we just get mad at Paul for doing
I want to think people probably they don't like to hear about it and rip them off.
Yeah.
They probably say, what is it? But the cash grab thing drives me nuts, which is what we're saying. Because, as far as I'm concerned, I don't say that it's not a cash grab. I say that it's the beginning of time. Companies were trying to make money. That's what they do, right? They put them out there, and it's like, nobody's going to grab your cash from you. You'll give it to them. And I know they know that collectors, some of them are going to get tempted one and all, right? And for the most part,
you get mad at the car companies for releasing a special edition of a 68 Mustang or something like that? I mean, come on. I mean, every company is, like they said, I mean, it's a business. They want to make money and,
you choose to buy it or not.
Exactly.
They make it enticing,
Right.
but you don't have to buy them, and they're in the business to make money.
Tom, you have some stuff down there. Show us what you got.
Yeah, so my big thing right now is I'm a big fan of the worldwide 45s, specifically the picture sleeve 45s. And you'll see, like, with a lot, especially with McCartney, it's because he's just got more singles than everyone else. different countries will release different picture sleeves for, let's say, a single. So I got here 9 different picture sleeves from around the world for the single Another Day. And you can see that there can be just as easy as writing on there from Belgium to something like Portugal and Spain, where we'll have like an image for Paul from, like, say, the Let It Be era. And then another cool thing is like some countries will have the same photo, but the dimensions will be different, or the colors will be different. So you can see stuff from like Italy, France, and Germany, where they're just, you know, the same photo, but different dimensions, and, you know, the photo, and some add color, like, you know, the Italians know what they're doing. So, but yeah, I mean, so the picture sleeves from around the world right now, that's something that I'm really interested in finding, and some are really, really cool, but hard to find and can be expensive.
Yeah, and that's actually almost never ending.
And again, the rabbit hole of McCartney is a never-ending hole.
You see, that's what music specifically, I drew the line of going, I'm going to keep it to domestic U.S. stuff. Like, so I will intentionally avoid buying Canadian issues of stuff, or if I don't want that. If I want Abbey Road, I want Abbey Road, and you know what? I'm still on a mission to find a mint copy, first pressing, pristine, some indication it's rarely been played,
Right.
and the person that has it has no idea what they own, and they'll give it to me for $10. I'm still waiting to find. I never meet those people, and then they make these TV series that have, like, for many years, they keep finding these people. Oh, I bought this. The guy didn't know what he had. It was the Butch's cover. It's called $5. I'm like, why don't I find these people? Well, Goodwill. People are good for you. I go with Goodwill, and I end up coming out with an old shirt and a Barbra Streisand.
Two Butcher covers on Goodwill.
Oh, you do?
Two Butcher covers. Second slate.
We sell them for $5.
What's that? Yeah, it's altogether 180. Because I think there was someone that thought they were Butcher covers, so they were trying to bid it up. But I was committed, I could tell it was. And here's the thing, because usually you look for the triangle, right? But the photographs in Goodwill will not always show you the triangle. What you have to look at is the upper right-hand side, where it says, you know, either ST, whatever number it is, you know, or T, the number of the LP. The sticker for the second slate partially cuts into that writing. If it's not a Butcher cover, you can read that drawing.
Yeah, there's
You got any of you guys have those?
No,
I had one, but I wound up selling it because it wasn't in great shape. But I like the one that the second state. I like it paste over. You can see that.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You see the very tantalizing black V.
That's right.
A ring of, and you know, over there I got some buried treasure under there. You know, that kind of thing. I like that. I'd rather have it that way. Not the deal.
Right. Yes.
Speaking to what you had said earlier about people like not knowing what they have, and you're hoping to find somebody who's going to give you something for $10, do you guys have like a catalog of, or like a listing of what you have, maybe what you either spent for it, or what you think? I mean, things are going to change in value when it's only valued at what somebody's willing to pay for it. But I have a lot of stuff that my kids care less about. And, you know, someday, if I'm not here, like, are they going to take my Butcher cover, I do have one, and be like, oh, well, I don't know what this is.
I mean, you can
they
use
know that particular thing.
Yeah, I mean, I use like Discogs, which is a great resource to kind of catalog all your stuff, and it'll give you like an average, low, high of what you have, and it's a great way to kind of document what you have and keep it all kind of organized, and give you an idea of what the value is.
Is that just records and albums, or
Everything.
is it anything?
Yeah, no music, physical, you know, CDs,
but
CDs,
like the dolls and.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be
you know,
that. It's just for vinyl or CD or tapes.
Right.
It wouldn't be for memorabilia.
Yeah, there are people out there that know more about the memorabilia. Terry Cranes that does the men's book. He was here last year. He had a great book that displayed all the items from 64 to 66, I believe it was. And doesn't necessarily go into pricing, but if you message him, maybe he can put you in the right ballpark.
I was just wondering if you guys, if it's something that you do just for personal, just to kind of know that
Right.
at some point, like, everybody kind of knows, like,
Well,
what
you
you
know,
have,
you kind of know when you're buying it too, in a way.
Well, I do, but I'm just
Right.
talking about,
I sometimes don't know what I have. I buy the same thing twice by accident.
Yeah, well, and that's where you give instructions. Like I will at some point, like on the back of my 45s or whatever, I'll put what I paid for and maybe what I could actually get for it. In the long run. We all know. I tell people if you're a collector, you're a McCartney collector, get the stuff now because when that unfortunate day comes, everything's going to skyrocket.
Yeah, that's a lot of post-it notes.
Yes. So I'm going to take this stock and post notes here.
Don't write on that.
That's something I wish I did with my collection was have, I mean,
Catalog.
I guess.
Started earlier. If I were to do it, we were to do it now, it's forever.
And what's funny is that I'm very fortunate in that at WFUV I've managed to be able to now since COVID do all my radio shows and everything from home. This has afforded me time, and I know this is going to sound, I don't mean it to sound this way, because I ended up in the hospital with COVID, but during that lockdown, that was like an opportunity which I blew I could have done so much work with my collection because I was home every day, and you look for things to do after a while, and I could have went and documented everything, and I wish I did. I might still do it one day, but it would have to be, I can't do everything. I'm going to write down just everything Beatle related I own. Because I also have bought things and go, have I had 3 copies of this already? I don't ever remember buying it. Happens all the time.
I bought something last night, I'm thinking I have that. But it wasn't a lot of money, I don't know, it's a 45,
Anyone else want to add something? Yes.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not a Beatles collector, I love the Beatles, and I collect other things, but it seems like you folks have been talking about post-break items. What about the original vinyl? Are you getting the mono and stereo?
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, original Capitol, absolutely.
I just bought a U.S. Rubber Soul for the first time, so because I grew up listening to just the UK stuff.
US, baby.
Yeah,
That's right.
So slowly starting to now get to appreciate what you got to listen to for the first time.
Yeah, that's, I collect also, but I don't, with me, when it comes to Beatle records, I want the best, I try to find original and the best copy, and if that means I've got great mono copies of Beatles 65 and no stereo, that's fine, but not that. Yeah. Because if I went that, I'd go out of my mind trying to track that. I'm always amazed at collectors who can actually have it in quantity and can sell some of them away. Just getting one copy is I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So, but mono and stereo, I mean, I personally, it doesn't matter. I just want a clean copy of this thing. If I happen to find one day, I bring it home, I'm like, oh great, now I got it both.
I'm a sucker for different covers. If there's a different picture on the cover, something unusual about it. Yeah, that's what I really want to get that. Fortunately, I didn't get that urge so much with Abbey Road or Sgt. Pepper. Most of the time it was the same. But when you see these other Germany different covers, or Japan, something, or Canada different albums, that's when I go crazy.
I just made a purchase, which is not something I typically do, but there were 5 singles for like $20. No, it was 5. It was all the same Mary Hopkin record on Apple, but it was every different pressing plant. This guy had them all together, all the different pressing plants that Capitol used in the late 60s. And for $20, I was just looking for a clean copy of the single. I got 5 of them in one shot. I was like, that's fun. But I don't know after things like that. You brought out some retro speedway tchotchkes here.
Yeah, because we're going into that before it's next show.
Oh, you said, so in other words, you're ready to move this one out of here now.
Well, that's okay.
We'll give Joe here.
Yeah,
Joe, what do you have? Yeah, Joe, yeah.
I was thinking of something, what's the most unusual or silly thing I can find? So, talcum powder, of which it's empty. And these days, it's just as well, if you watch those commercials, they scare the life out of you. You use talcum powder? Back in the day, It's like, so anyway, I don't use it, but no, this is fine. I wanted this for a while, finally got it, And this is a Beatles Buddies. Got nice color photos, and still seal that whole.
Wow.
I hope originally, Darren. You didn't have these in the
I made a Reese, is that staple? Yeah, I only did the hairdryer thing in the back and stuff.
Well, you got George Ringo also inside, of course, they're all on the top here. But,
I'm not gonna open it, you know.
See you around.
And this
Yeah,
is,
show the one.
this is actually belongs to a friend of ours over there, Joe Boswell. This is a London Town press kit, which is pretty rare. Actually has a passport, photos, photographs from the period, an essay, like on the sessions. I mean, this kind of stuff is super, super rare to come by. American, right? This is This is an American one? Yeah. I mean, pretty detailed, great photographs. And you just see, very rare to see this stuff these days. And he loaned it to us to show for the show today. I never saw these before. Or even like little slides of Paul and stuff in there too.
Oh, that's nice.
Really, but what a nice piece this is. Wow. Thanks for letting us show.
And that was a capital thing that they sent out. I almost bought something just a couple of weeks ago similar to this, but I don't know if it was like stuff compiled by the person selling it on Wings Over America. It was very similar, folder with photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's all for collecting. Thanks, guys. for
Never
spending
ends,
time.
never ends.
Thank you, Darren.
And,